following announcement has been paid for by the WZWA Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the AEW Dynamite review here on the WZWA Network. I am one of your hosts with the most on the West Coast, California. Very great to be with you all once again. And of course, my co-host here at this time, the one and only Jooseyboy Daniel Johnston. What is going on, my friend?
Not a lot, California. Interesting episode of Dynamite. We, of course, missed last week due to our friend's matrimonial vows. But we're back here this week. So let's get into it, brother.
Yep. Who has a wedding on a Thursday, bro? Because Dynamite's on Wednesday usually, but in Australia we get it on Thursday. So that's why there was no review last week. But as we said on the NXT 2.0 review this week, Jooseyboy, I needed a break because I was obviously very upset. And when I look back at it, I kind of laugh at how serious I take wrestling sometimes. But, you know, before we even begin this, I just wanted to kind of like air that a little bit in the fact that I was just so disappointed in the decision that was made to make Sammy Guevara the TNT champion. I just feel like it was going against the grain. Eddie Kingston, it felt like people really were liking him and they wanted to see him and Miro go at it again. And I really felt like that they just made the wrong decision here. Well, Tony made the wrong decision here. It's based off just what he wants. And he's not listening. He's not actively listening to his audience as far as I'm concerned. And yes, I know the crowd did pop for Sammy winning, but I think Eddie would draw more money as that champion than Sammy. So, you know, nothing against Sammy Guevara, but I just don't believe he could beat Miro ever.
No.
Yeah. So, yeah, and it wasn't just that. The rest of the show had, you know, I was pretty steamed throughout the whole thing. So that was like the cherry on top. And then I went online, bro. I went online and I saw some people, you know, a lot of people were saying, you know, that was a pretty crappy show. But then there were people like, some people were like, oh, that was one of the best Dynamites yet. And I just remember thinking to myself, some of these marks don't get it at all. It's embarrassing, but look, each to their own. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. And speaking of opinion, let's get into our opinion here, Jooseyboy. Let's talk a little bit about this week's Dynamite. We start the show again with CM Punk coming out for commentary, does his entrance, etc. I know maybe I need to be patient, and some people out there need to be patient, but I'm kind of feeling restless at this point that I still have yet to see a real important angle for CM Punk to be a part of. He did a little bit here with Team Taz, and that seems to have forgotten about so quickly. And then he's just been having matches against different people. I'm concerned that, you know, the big brains on Tony Khan, he's not creative enough as a person. Not everybody is suited to be a creative person. And Tony, I don't think, has a track record in creative writing. So I do not believe for a second, DJ, that there is anything going on with him where he's actually got a good plan in place of like a solid angle for Punk to sink his teeth into, for us to be drawn into, for something that is just imperative to the return of CM Punk to professional wrestling. I think they're taking too long to get into it. What do you think? And obviously, what did you think of Punk coming out for commentary again?
Look, I'm at this point starting to feel like, you know, it's all well and good to get the pop for him entering, but I'd rather that they just did that before the show actually went on the air. And just at this point now, it's been several weeks. Let's just cut to the announcer booth and have him there. The audience can get their pop for his entrance and stuff before the show goes on the air. I'd say that I agree. I think Punk needs something to sink his teeth into. It's good that they're having him wrestle these matches, just TV matches, because that's something that's missing a lot of times from wrestling program in the modern era. Wrestling programming, excuse me. But I wholeheartedly agree. It's time for a juicy angle for him to sink his teeth into, and it's time to leave these commentary entrances off of the broadcast.
Yeah, man. I just think, fucking. I get it. I know Bryan Danielson likes to just have wrestling matches and have great matches or whatever. I get that Punk probably likes to just have some great matches, but I'm concerned, bro. It's been nearly 2 months or whatever since they both kind of come in. A little bit more for Punk, but I just feel like nothing has really happened of note except for like a little thing with Danielson and Kenny Omega, which seems to have been forgotten about now because they're heading in another direction. But again, I'm concerned that the person writing the show isn't able to write up to the level of the performance that he's got on the roster. Moving forward, though, bro. First match on the show, Dante Martin with your favorite manager of all time, Lio Rush, taking on Malakai Black. I believe there was some build up to this from like last week. Something or other happened, which is why this match is taking place. Jooseyboy, I'm going to let you take the floor with this one. What did you think of the opening match here on Dynamite? Dante Martin versus Malakai Black.
All right. Well, everyone who's been watching since the beginning of our AEW review series would know that Dante Martin is my boy. Dante Martin ticks all them boxes for that side of my own personal fandom that loves to just mark out at spectacular moves and smooth rolls and springboards and dives. I do enjoy that kind of wrestling if it's put contextually into a sequence that makes logical sense. And I feel like Dante Martin is one of the few high flyers where when I watch his offense, it genuinely feels like, man, if he hit you with that, it would hurt. It would be surprising. He can come out of nowhere. He can convert any position into an offensive move using his high-flying abilities. So I like that about Dante Martin. He's my boy. High hopes from me for his future. Ridiculous idea putting him with Lio Rush. I understand that Dante might not be the best talker, but, Dante is a high-flying babyface, good-looking young kid. I don't understand why they've decided to put Lio Rush with him, who people don't really like Lio Rush. He has a bit of heat as being kind of a prima donna and a bit of a diva within the wrestling business, and he's known backstage for being very demanding in terms of what he expects from the promotions he works for. And a little bit of that ego is obviously a good thing, but I think Lio Rush, his flavor and his temperament doesn't really match with the kind of character that Dante Martin puts across. However, as we'll get to later, I did enjoy Lio Rush's little promo backstage in relation to this match. The match itself, Malakai Black, obviously peak physical condition, peak understanding of the nuances of his own character and what he's trying to convey with his theatricality, and the whole way that he puts across the character. He's clearly very in tune with that and what he wants and how it's going to come across. And again, there was absolutely no difference here. Great character work from him. Most of this match was pretty good. There were a couple of moments where Malakai Black basically suspended himself in mid-motion and just waited for a good 10, 15 seconds for Dante Martin to remember what was supposed to be happening and get into position for the spot. This happened particularly in instances where Dante was the offender, was on the offensive in those spots. So it ended up looking like his Malakai Black. He's running at him. It looks like he's about to attack. Nope, he has to stop because Dante's forgotten what's going on and he needs to wait for him to get in position in the move. As a vicious heel, he should not have done that. I don't hear any stories from young guys that worked with Guerrero or Benoit or Malenko or The Undertaker or Booker T that will tell you that if they blew a spot, that those guys would be waiting there in position for him to execute the spot. All of them will tell you that if we missed a spot, they'd go back to beating the crap out of us because it's still supposed to look like a fight. Not saying that Malakai should have beaten the crap out of him in sort of a hazing way to punish him. I'm just saying that when there's a break in the coordination of what these guys are doing for their performance, you need to fill those gaps in with brawling or something.
You need to make up for it.
Exactly. They should have just blown past it, and tried to maybe regroup and get back into it another way. But Malakai should have immediately jumped on the hesitation so that the commentators could go, oh, Dante Martin slipped a bit. There's the inexperience. Malakai took advantage. Nobody would have known. As it was, glaring error. Other than that, though, I thought that this match was, a really good showing for Dante Martin. He's improving every week. Malakai, of course, continues to nail it with his performance. I'm giving this a C- overall.
Cool, bro. I'll run through my notes. Early on in the match, I could see that they were cooperating with each other. So it still makes me think that Dante is still rather green, and the pre-planning is evident. Mm-hmm. I think this is probably the least liked match that I've had of Malakai Black so far, being in AEW. I've been really big on everything he's done so far, but this one, I just felt like that it was a bit botchy. They were a little stuck in the mud. Considering who was in the match, I still felt like they were stuck in the mud because, the pre-planning.
To be honest,
it's almost like you can see their brains ticking over trying to remember what's next.
See, but the Malakai versus Dustin Rhodes match felt a little like that for me as well, to be honest with you. I just think that maybe Malakai has got his character work, like we've been saying, up to level 100, but he's still not quite at the level where it's natural enough for him to do that stuff on autopilot while he carries an opponent through a match.
Right. I thought the bridging German suplex was great, and I wouldn't have minded if that was the finish because he really dropped him, right in that sweet spot. I kind of felt like he gave Dante too much in this match. I understand that they're trying to build a younger guy, and that's cool. I did like the little nod that Malakai gave him at the end of the match. I was kind of hoping that might lead to maybe Malakai brainwashing the kid to be like a disciple of his or something like that, but it doesn't matter. We don't need any more stables right now.
No.
Malakai Black wins the match, but again, like and this is evident throughout the show, man. That the fans chanting "This is awesome" when it really doesn't necessitate that chant. They kind of did it almost to cover up for the fact that the match wasn't really firing on all cylinders. It was okay. It was passable, but again, stuck in the mud and botchy. Wasn't too chuffed with the beginning of the show here. It was okay, but there
might as well be an applause sign up on the roof that lights up when they want the crowd to do these chants, the way that they sort of automatically seem to do it as soon as a high spot happens.
That's it. We go backstage with the Jurassic Express. I called it. I fucking called it, bro. I said, I'm calling an interruption here because I could see with the camera had Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus here, Tony here, and then there was a gap next to Tony, which it's, again, cut and paste. They do it every week. Someone talks for a sentence, and then they're interrupted by somebody. The Elite interrupt, attack in the back. It looked fake. Nice little powerbomb through the table. That was okay. But I kept thinking to myself, man, if they're going to do something like this, then I want the Good Brothers there too. Because I kind of feel like Luchasaurus would at least be able to swat a couple of these guys away considering his size. And again, they're not protecting Luchasaurus based on his size. I think if you're going to do this, the Good Brothers need to be there too, because I just don't see it being realistic that little old Adam Cole and the little Young Bucks are going to be able to do too much damage to two people. I know Jungle Boy's smaller than all of them, but I think if you're going to do stuff like this, the bigger people in the group need to be there. So it was what it was. Okay, cool. They're continuing the story. Again, nothing offensive, but at the same time, sometimes with the Bucks, it looks a little fake. What did you think, bro?
Yeah, look, I'd have to agree. I thought that this was kind of another throwaway backstage promo for me, which is disappointing because I do want to hear from these people and learn more about them, as we've been saying right from the outset of this series. But in any case, it was a pretty quick interruption. A phony-looking beatdown with the exception of the powerbomb through the table. I agree with you. The Good Brothers should be acting like the muscle for this group, since they don't really do much else with them anyway. you might as well make him like the muscle for the Elite. They do the backstage beatdown. The Young Bucks treated it like a joke and kept mugging for the camera like they're fucking in the front row of WCW Nitro. Not great. D-.
Well, we hit the mute button because Jericho's making his entrance. Mm-hmm. Again, I don't want to hear it again, so I'm hitting that mute button every time I have to, anytime the Inner Circle's involved in something with Jericho's theme playing. Good to have the whole stable together, finally. Again, this is something I've been saying for weeks, and I'm going to get to it when I get to the rest of my notes, but DJ, this segment here with the Inner Circle and American Top Team.
Look, once again, I found that Inner Circle ended up looking silly because American Top Team, as a group that's comprised of legitimate fighters, they are capable of just beating the shit out of the Inner Circle. And I understand that there's something for maintaining the kayfabe and treating the Inner Circle like they're credible as well. But the best way to go about this, in my own personal opinion, would be to have the Inner Circle, like the professional wrestlers, use those tactics against American Top Team. So, American Top Team's not used to all the zany bullshit that goes on in the world of professional wrestling. That could be something that the Inner Circle should be able to use to their advantage because Top Team has walked into their world, not the other way around. I thought the promo from Jericho wasn't too bad. I thought the promo work from Dan Lambert was excellent as always. Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page are really starting to come into their own. This was a great move, hooking them up with American Top Team. And I'm excited to see where this goes. I'm kind of interested to see this big 10-man tag that they've been pitching for because I really am curious to see how the MMA fighters do in a professional wrestling match. I'm going to go ahead and give this segment a C+. The Inner Circle stuff didn't really do tons for me, but overall the work of American Top Team has really been, firing on all cylinders for me.
Yeah. So I will say my notes here. Again, this is the cut and paste interruption as usual. They do their best to explain why Santana and Ortiz have not helped over the last few months when Jericho and Hager and even Sammy Guevara have been had the shit beaten out of them by Miro or American Top Team. So they're trying to explain why, but at the same time, talking about how they've been taking notice that their friends have been getting their ass kicked, but we get no explanation as to why they actually didn't come out and make the save. So that's a little weak for me, and that's on Tony Khan and his writing. I love some of Jericho's verbiage. Who's the lady in the group?
Paige Van Zandt.
Right. Okay. He made a comment about her sliding to his DMs or whatever, and he wouldn't even touch her with her husband's genitalia.
And by the way,
that's a fucking lie. That's a fucking lie if I've ever heard one.
And by the way, Paige Van Zandt's husband looks like a fucking meth head. I don't know what the attraction is there, but I mean, fucking each to their own, I guess. Anyway, sorry to cut in. Go ahead.
That's all right, bro. I'm used to it. There's such a lie. You would touch her with your own genitalia, Jericho. Okay, look at her. Dan Lambert, solid as usual. Fantastic. Getting their biggest heat on the show. That's a true heel. I don't give a fuck what the fans think. Oh, it's getting old. He's ruining the vibe. No, we've got a real heel here.
Yeah, he's making the vibe better.
Mm-hmm. Biggest problem with the segment ends with Sammy Guevara on the microphone.
Mm-hmm.
And Sammy Guevara, little old Sammy Guevara with his lack of facial hair or ability to grow it, talking about first of all, he started talking at the wrong time when Scorpio Sky hadn't finished his point yet. Secondly, he's talking about kicking all of their asses. There is no fucking way that would be believable in any sense, because these are legitimate fighters they would eat him up in 20 seconds.
I don't even think Sammy could kick Dan Lambert's ass.
But I think he would have a hard time with him as well. I just don't know why they had to give the mic to him. I know he has the TNT title, which shouldn't be on his waist at all at this stage, but he should not be the one finishing the segment and dropping the mic. It's a joke to me. If anything, I would have rather Jake Hager get on the mic. I would have rather Jericho finish it off. I don't think Sammy Guevara is threatening whatsoever. But I will give another shout out to Scorpio Sky for his verbiage as well. I think he did a good job. Moving forward, bro. AAA Tag Team title match. Las Super Ranas, the team that have been selected by Andrade, taking on the Lucha Bros. I'll run through my notes here. We both obviously, we could all tell it was clearly a setup. Punk already kind of gave it away earlier on in commentary, saying that it looks like FTR. I thought the first few minutes were really weird. And then obviously they unmasked them and, surprise, surprise. I was questioning why FTR will be working with Andrade, but thankfully that was explained later. I didn't like the dives, the double dives to the outside. I kind of felt like the hyping up of a dive to the crowd is giving it away to your opponents who aren't really in that much of dire straits.
Yeah.
So I wasn't really chuffed with that, but of course the fans ate it up. I wrote down, I want a screw job. Thankfully, we got new AAA Tag Team champions. That was good. So happy to see FTR get the win here, win some championships, because obviously they're not going to be given the regular ones at this point in time. But good to see something a little bit unpredictable take place, despite the fact that the setup to it was a little bit weird and a little bit contrived. DJ, your thoughts?
Yeah, look, I don't really have too much else to add on to that. I thought that this whole actual match, until they actually took the masks off and revealed who they were, was very clunky. And I also felt like this entire angle felt very cold. Like the audience and everyone watching was just kind of going, where did this come from? This is weird that we're seeing suddenly a AAA title match, tag title match, and they're doing this masked tag team setup angle, and everyone kind of knows what the angle is, but it was weird. Like, I don't think anyone had much context as to why this was going on. We'd find out later. I'd give this whole thing a C- again. I thought that FTR did fantastic. I really enjoyed their part in this. But yeah, this felt a little off for me, a little bit clunky. So yeah, C- for this whole thing.
Yeah, and we have to obviously give a shout out to Tully running out. That's the desperation in his face. Fantastic. I love that stuff. Moving to Tony in the back, he's with Leah and Dante. I wrote, I couldn't care less. You said that you liked it. DJ, what did you like about it?
Yeah, look, I mean, even though I'm not a big fan of Lio Rush as you could have gathered from my earlier remarks, I actually thought that Lio Rush's promo did a good job to explain, okay, here's why Dante Martin is with a fucking douchebag like this. Here's what this fucking douchebag can actually offer to Dante Martin. There's a built-in angle when Dante Martin eventually gets sick of his shit. And I thought that Leo used a lot of good verbiage to kind of explain, hey, you lost the match, but failing is part of eventually like becoming a success. And where it's onward and upwards here for Dante Martin. And Lio Rush says, I'm going to be Dante's new tag partner. So Lio Rush, bit injury prone. Obviously, this is a way that he's not going to have to carry the workload in ring. I still am not sold on this pairing, but credit where credit is due. That is always my motto. I'm actually giving this promo a B-. I really thought that it did what it was supposed to do.
Right. Fair enough, bro. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I I don't. It's weird to me that Leo Rush will be talking about, you need to fail before you succeed, and Leo hasn't succeeded yet.
No,
he's
but
he's still, he's still quite young. I don't know.
I think that might be part of it, though. Like it's like
hopefully
this deluded influencer type character. That's more of a like it's more bark than bite. It's all a show. So
right.
We'll see where that goes.
We'll see where it goes. Speaking of seeing where things go, we do find out why Andrade had selected FTR to help him out, fuck around with the Lucha Brothers. Another thing I wanted to say, though, is like when I know Park was in the ladder match last week, right? Well, I didn't see the show, but before that, he hadn't really been on the show for since the match he had with Andrade. We're finally getting number 2 between the two of them in the coming weeks or whenever. But I just kind of feel like it's such a strange angle because it feels like half the time Park isn't even there. But anyway, they're in a fresh location in the stairwell.
Yeah.
They meet up with MJF. Andrade and MJF exchange cash. MJF is quite funny in this whole thing. So I really enjoyed this.
Yeah.
What did you?
I agree. I'd give this segment an A-. This went a long way into establish. Okay, MJF has hired FTR, or he's hired Andrade El Idolo on behalf of FTR because they're all in the inner circle. They're Pinnacle together. Sorry, Pinnacle, and so they've hired Andrade El Idolo to help them steal the AAA tag titles, which puts heat on Andrade. It adds more heat to the Pinnacle. It gives FTR a new set of tag titles without them having to hog the AEW tag titles all to themselves. And of course, MJF comes off like even more of a smarmy, underhanded prick. And you also got the sense that this was an uneasy transaction between Andrade El Idolo and the Pinnacle. So they also, once again, it's like we talked about with NXT the other day, how now you've got one thing that's connected to this, and then this thing is connected to this, and then this thing's also connected to this, and you end up getting this nice threading through of storylines that makes the whole program feel more cohesive and makes the world that they're creating on this program that much more immersive. And that is why this segment is getting an A-. Did not expect that I'd be giving anything an A rating on this show, but this promo, A- material.
Yeah, I get what you're saying there, and I just wish we saw more of it.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of thing. Moving forward, Jon Moxley against Wheeler Yuta. I wrote down I would have rather see Kingston wrestle, who they completely fucked around over the last few months. He was there, and now I don't know what he's doing. He's just, waiting to be in this eliminator tournament, I suppose. Moxley storms out. He beats Wheeler in a couple of fucking seconds. Then he storms off again. I just wrote whatever. I'm just so disinterested in the character right now. They need to do something. It's like you never see this guy in peril. You never see anything where it's like you can actually care about him as a baby face.
Mm-hmm.
There's such a difference between him and Hangman Page. I actually like Hangman Page. I'm actually interested in the guy, but Moxley as a baby face, it's time to switch him over, I think. What did you think?
Yeah, look, I just had no interest in this. Wheeler Yuta came out of nowhere and suddenly was associated with the Best Friends, and suddenly he's coming out with Orange Cassidy instead of Chuck Taylor and Trent. I don't much care for them either, but at least they were established as being associated with Orange Cassidy. Suddenly you got this Wheeler Yuta kid. Wheeler Yuta should still be wrestling exclusively on Dark and Elevation. He's not ready yet for this position. Jon Moxley is absolutely as boring as watching fucking paint dry. Like the overhead compartment of a 747 plane, going through there and looking at what kinds of suitcases all the passengers have brought with them would literally be more exciting than the time that we spent watching this Jon Moxley match. This was a waste of time, and I'm giving it an F. Until this show, starts using Jon Moxley the way that, you know what, I'll say it, until they start using him the way that he was used in WWE, where he was actually a multiple-time WWE champion, where he felt like a star, where it was a big deal for Dean Ambrose to go up against Brock Lesnar, where it was a big deal for Dean Ambrose to go up in a pay-per-view match against Seth Rollins or Randy Orton, where it was a big deal when the Shield went up against Evolution, or when the Shield took on each other in a triple threat elimination match for the WWE title. That was how you use Jon Moxley / Dean Ambrose as a star, and they're not doing any of that shit in AEW. If anything, they've managed to bring down the credibility of guys like Minoru Suzuki simply by associating him with Moxley. And if you think I'm being too harsh, I dare anyone to point to 5 examples over the past 10 weeks where Moxley's done anything on the show that's actually set the ratings on fire, where you've gone, this is must-see TV from him. F rating. Let's move on.
Cool, bro. I feel ya. One other little note I wrote down as the show was continuing on. After all those weeks, man, that we've been watching before our break last week, we ended up missing the end of the Matt Hardy Orange Cassidy feud. We also ended up missing the end of the Brian Cage Starks feud. I've been complaining so much about the Cage and Starks thing, so it was a bit disappointing that we never ended up actually getting to see. I mean, we can go watch it, but we're not going to review it. You know, after all that time, I just thought to myself, what a shame that we waited all that time for something to fucking happen, and then when it finally happened, it was when we weren't watching. Serena Deeb interview with Tony Schiavone. I wrote down interruption again before it happened. I knew it was going to happen. It was a horrible brawl in the back with I guess it was Hikaru Shida. It just came across very fake. And again, where's the referees? They came out and stopped a few other women from fighting later on. Why didn't they stop this? You know, that little segment ended really awkwardly as far as I could see, seeing those two try and brawl against the wall there. What did you think?
Yeah, this sucked. I've got nothing else to say about it. It's just another cookie cutter, copy and paste backstage brawl.
Yeah, speaking of something that I didn't have any time for, that unfortunately was given more time on the show, I think, than anything. The Super Kliq, the Young Bucks and Adam Cole. And I like Adam Cole. Taking on the Dark Order, boring. And I like
John Silver.
John Silver. I always have a hard time remembering his
Johnny
name. I like John Silver. I like him, but god damn, I thought the Dark Order and the Elite stuff was over with already, but I felt like it was a really unnecessary match. It's a foregone conclusion, like we had with Moxley. We knew who was going to win. I don't think that there was any point having this match on the show. I think Adam Cole has the best theme song going right now. That's another note I had. The referee is fucking useless. It's that bald referee. I am not a fan of that referee.
It's Rick Knox.
Okay, well, I'm not a fan of his.
He used to be the head PWG referee, so he has a lot of experience in just staying out of the way while 10 wrestlers at once just ignore the rules and do 500 dives. So that's obviously why they've got him there in the company and why they always put him in the Elites matches, because he's used to their routines and shit. I wouldn't be so harsh on him. He actually can referee. I've seen him referee perfectly fine plenty of times. It's just that they always use him for these fucking spot fest matches.
Well, they just need to. Yeah, I don't know. This is the kind of match that is the 2019 AEW that I wasn't interested in. Okay, I don't care about this match. There's no real build to this match as far as I'm concerned. Yes, I know there was old pre-existing issues, but fuck, I thought they were already done with by now. We already saw it was a 10-man tag fucking 2 months ago. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I can see all the choreography taking place in the match. And then I wrote, Kazarian, the Elite Hunter, he really did a good job, didn't he? He did a great job, didn't he? He done fuck all. They gave him that title and did nothing with it. What a waste of time for him. I feel bad for Kazarian because he's still got a lot to give, at this stage in his career. I also wrote down this is going on too long. Okay, the only other thing that I did like in the match was the double kiss, but then Cole realizes it's two members of the Dark Order. Hated Evil Uno with Socko. That was unnecessary, stupid, ha-ha bullshit. The fans ate it up. Fuck you all. Fuck you all for fucking giving them that kind of reaction, because you just allow them to keep doing shit like this when you react like that. Guarantee if a Vince Russo wrote something and there was something like that happened, you'd be like, oh my God, why? Fuckheads. We know who's winning this. This is awesome chance for things that aren't that awesome. The Panama Sunrise should have been the finish, but of course they got to do a couple more things to finish off the match. And the segment finished with Jungle Boy coming out. So I got a mosquito flying around. Jungle Boy coming out to get some revenge. And I just thought, again, bland, horrible finish to the segment. Bro, sorry I took away a lot of what you were going to say maybe, but maybe you can add on to it. What did you think of this unnecessary six-man tag team match?
This match fucking sucked. This sucked. You know, I liked the same bits that you liked. So, you know, rewind to Carl's portion if you want to know what I liked about this match. This fucking sucked. This was another example of a bullshit match that is just designed for the elite to stroke their own egos. I'm so sick of Evil Uno. He's by far the worst wrestler on the roster. I say that as someone that used to be a huge fan of Player Uno and Player Dos, the team of Stu Grayson and Evil Uno. I don't know what's happened. I don't know if Evil Uno has gotten old overnight in between the transition from the Indies to AEW, or I don't know if it's just a simple matter of the guy's not good with time cues or anything like that, or if he doesn't realize how visible he actually is because there's more than just one camera going around the ring. And I feel bad saying it because I don't like to put down any wrestler. You know, they all work hard. They go to school. They train. They take the bumps, you know. I don't like saying this. He fucking sucks. They need to send him somewhere else to get those fucking skills back up to scratch, because he is just go away heat every time he's on the screen. And the Young Bucks weren't much better in this match. This match is getting an F again. I'm giving another F. And it's not even because necessarily quality. It's the overall tone and tenor of putting a segment and a match of this kind on at this point in the show. It's tone deaf. It's not 2019 anymore. The promotion has evolved past the flippy, dippy, whippy, yippy shit that used to be synonymous with it at the beginning. And regardless of what the hardcore fan base feels, they're going to sit there and watch everything and like it no matter what. You could feed them plates of shit and they would still cheer for it and say, yay, we want more. Tony Khan, oh my God, he's got the balls to take on Vince McMahon. No, this sucked. This needs to stop. These matches, Carl, are dragging down the overall quality of these shows.
I hate it, bro. I hate them. I hate these multi-mans. I hate them. Like in a circle versus American Top Team. Okay, that sounds interesting. Bit different. But these types of ones, there's fuck.
Okay, and you know, I'm going to say this. It is an insult to our intelligence as wrestling fans that the referee can't even be fucked. And I know I just defended Rick Knox, but I'm saying within kayfabe here. Within kayfabe, the referee can't even be fucked in like caring about the rules. Why should we give a shit about a match that's got all the cohesion of a post-match beatdown segment during the height of the Attitude Era? Why? This sucked. I don't want to get any more steamed about it, man. This just sucked.
Yeah. In a minute, bro, after we get through this next segment, I'm going to need you to pause the recording so I can get alternative lighting out here as the sun is going down very quickly. But, okay, so Cody has a vignette. Finally, something with Cody that I didn't actually hate. It was good but weird. I guess, you know, they're trying to rebuild Cody for this third instance of a match with Malakai Black. I like some of the stuff that happened, and I liked that he was bleeding from the mouth, and he was saying, what's the point to all of this? I like seeing that, the character is kind of like the real person, a little bit delusional. Thinks he's hot shit right now. So I did enjoy this vignette, but I really hope Malakai beats him the third time as well, and that Cody explodes and becomes a heel, a proper heel finally. What did you think, bro?
Yeah, look, I felt like this was some much-needed humility for Cody Rhodes' character. This was framed, like, I love the way they did it. Cody gets out at the Nightmare Factory training facility, gets out of the car. He walks in there. When they open the roller door, his brother's already there. His brother doesn't say anything or get involved in any of this, but the rest of the people there confront him and say, look at you, pretty boy. You're late again. One of the women just straight up smacks him across the mouth. So they're letting him know, we're not happy with you. Like, we're not fucking happy with you. You're doing a disservice to us. You're representing us poorly. I liked that. They should pretend that they care about stuff like that. Then it cuts. Arn's there kind of leading the whole thing. He says, this is a drill that goes back to football. Everyone keeps coming at you, and you've got to find a way to fend them off and attack them rapidly, and you don't get a break. Anyone that's ever spent any time in wrestling school, as you and I did, Carl, you'd know that this is actually a legitimate drill that students will perform in wrestling school. Sometimes it's in a sequence, so it goes like arm drag, hip toss, knockdown. Other times they just have to do a knockdown every time someone feeds to them. But it is actually a legitimate drill that training students will use, and I like that as well, because it recontextualized that drill as if it was a real thing, and within the kayfabe, they actually are beating the crap out of him. So every time that he did something, someone would feed to him, he'd hit him with something, then they'd go away for a minute and sell, because they're treating it like it's actually legitimate. Cody eventually starts getting really upset. At one point, he falls and he's draped against the ropes. And as he's basically eye to eye with one of the young ladies that's standing out there, hit my own headphone cord. She slaps the crap out of his face. And at that point, he goes, what the fuck is this? I'm not learning anything. And again, it's trying to convey that idea. You need some tough love. This is tough love. They're being cruel to be kind here. And to be honest, this was the first time that I didn't completely just hate Cody's character and roll my eyes since we've been watching. This was like, okay, there's a human side now. There's a bit of humility being put onto his character now. There's actually a bit of redemption for him to work towards, either work towards or crash and burn into oblivion and don't make it and end up turning heel. There are two ways that this can go. I like the fact that they're actually building in some sort of tangible direction, acknowledging Cody's Hollywood pretty boy. I'm trying to go mainstream and transcend AEW persona. So I'd actually give this overall segment, I know I've gone on for a while, but there was quite a lot to cover. I would give this thing a C+. This was pretty decent.
Cool, bro. Let's pause there.
Okay, I am pausing now.
Okay, bro. So what came up next? MJF comes out unannounced, like he's going to have a match. So at first I was a little bit surprised by it because it hadn't been advertised. Okay, finally, after all these weeks of them advertising MJF coming out to talk, he just came out. DJ, I'm going to let you take this away. MJF's promo and all the shenanigans that took place.
Look, to be honest with you, bro, I really enjoyed it. It's the classic heel wrestler. Everyone in the audience knows that he is responsible for taking his opponent out. In this case, it was Darby Allin that was scheduled to be his opponent. And then the heel wrestler is going to stand in the ring, force the referee to officially ring the bell, make the count, and declare the heel the winner by count out. So that was what was going on. Heel wrestling 101 here. This is what we need to see more of in the company. MJF was just basking and relishing in the heat that he was generating. Another great promo from him and another DJ recommends moment. Go out of your way to check this out, this promo. Obviously, brings referee Bryce Remsburg out, orders him that he's going to make the count. Eventually this whole process is interrupted by Sting. MJF, being the chicken shit that he is, bails out of the ring, and it looks like we've got something brewing between MJF and Sting, which I can't believe is going to be anything other than great. So I'm looking forward to that. I liked the fact that they're kind of not using Darby, but they got a little appearance from Sting. You don't need every show to be covered with Darby Allin, you can rotate people in and out, as we were saying a couple of weeks ago. So I like that. I love the commentators. JR and Tony have never made any secret of their disdain for the MJF character, always calling him a piece of crap. And Punk at one point remarked that this was, quote, the worst thing he's ever seen. Like, he hates MJF's bullshit that much that it's the worst thing he's ever seen. And this is a guy that was in WWE for 10 years. So he's seen a lot of shit on wrestling programming. So I thought that was funny. I'm giving this segment another A-, bro. Real mixed bag of a show so far.
Oh, it is. You've given some Fs. You've given some As. This is weird. Loved that MJF said "schvelt." Very nice.
Svelte.
Verbiage is always very good, and I guarantee you he comes up with a lot of his own shit. I also wrote down MJF shouldn't be this good at his age. It's just ridiculous how confident he is on the microphone. I assume this guy's got like really high IQ. He's just really. Yeah.
You can definitely tell. You can definitely tell that as a human being, he's well educated and stuff like that. You can tell that he understands, here's how I comport myself in this environment. Here's the way I need to carry myself. These are the times when I need to be an asshole. These are the times when I need to be a bit more chill and hold back a bit. It is maturity and wisdom seemingly beyond his years. Whoever his parents are, his family, and his trainers, the people that got him into the business, they did a good job educating him as far as attitude and comporting oneself in the business. So a good point there, Carl. I agree wholeheartedly.
I bet you, even if he was never a wrestler, he would have been a lawyer or something like that. He would have done something really important, and
where he has to use his articulation.
Yeah. So yeah, the Bryce Remsburg stuff comes. It's just like a classic heel kind of thing. When Sting's theme hit, I got excited. Loved him coming out with the bat. Wardlow takes a shot. MJF, chicken shit, fucks off. I wrote down segment of the show. Best thing that happened on the show, and that should be whatever our thumbnail is on this review. Something to do with this video. Moving forward, Anna Jay gets an interview. Wrote it down again. Interruption, cut and paste, Britt Baker. It's going to be a match coming up on Rampage.
I'd like to jump in here because this really pissed me off, man.
Sure.
If I don't say it, I'm going to pass out. Right? This thing here between Anna Jay and as you said, Britt Baker, DMD, was a carbon copy of the previous thing we saw between Serena Deeb and Hikaru Shida. I actually was confused between the two segments. It's almost like this episode of Dynamite was like a month playthrough of a season mode on an old wrestling video game where they just keep repeating the same segments over and over, but just change the character models that are in the animations.
And no Michael Cole going.
Yeah, and there wasn't even Michael Cole going like that. This sucked. They either needed to let Anna Jay talk or they needed to let Anna Jay and Britt Baker brawl. But combining the both of them here, this was really lame. It had another half-hearted, phony-looking hockey fight that was used as an excuse for a brawl. They didn't let Anna Jay talk long enough. She didn't seem like she had very much prepared to say if they hadn't have interrupted her.
Because that was the only purpose for the whole fucking thing, right? It's just like, well, we've got to book him in a match on Rampage, so let's have Britt just interrupt. Like, it's it's beginners booking 101. Tony Khan is not a creative genius, okay?
And it's contrived, and it's like they've basically just rolled a dice and then put on whichever segment formula came up as the answer. And it's not working. And this is going to be a D- from me, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's just evident with the females on the show. Again, I've said it before. I'll say it again. I'm just going to keep saying it until they improve it. They can't think of like solid angles for the women. They can't think of a creative that is actually something that they can sink their teeth into. It's just always just like someone interrupts someone, talk shit, they fight. It's just beginners booking 101. I fucking can't stand it. Speaking of the women, bro, moving forward, we get the token women's match on the show. Again, AEW, I'm daring you to put 2 women's matches on one show. I'm daring you. I'm going to take it here, bro, with my notes. I think a mosquito bit me on my neck. Crowd were flat from the outset with Kiera Hogan versus Penelope Ford. It was not off to the best start with some, I guess, some botchy kind of looking things. Of course, the women get the commercial break. So this match feels like, because we're not watching the TNT version, we're watching the Fight TV version. So we're not going to picture in picture. We're seeing the whole match. So it feels like it's going on too long. I wrote down Botch City. There was a good superplex when they came out of commercial, I believe, but it took too long to set up. Again, I wrote down it's going on too long. The springboard cutter was stupid. Just hit a cutter. You didn't need to springboard off the ropes to hit the cutter. She was right there to hit a cutter on. So again, the agents need to say, okay, that move should never happen again, because although it looked impressive at the same time, it's nonsensical to do it when you can just hit the move without doing the springboard. Penelope Ford wins. Foregone conclusion. We knew that Kiera Hogan was going to win. Ruby Soho runs out, attacks after the match. It's the only thing I really enjoyed about it. Nothing against the women here. I like both performers, but I just was not a fan of this matchup. And they really need to do some work with the women, angle-wise, story-wise, and fucking help them out with their matches, because some of the stuff's just not firing on all cylinders. Bro, what did you think?
And once again, bro, as we say, it's a disservice to the ladies. Like, okay, Penelope Ford right now is the second most over woman in the company, in my view, behind Britt Baker. She is slowly converting herself into a star before our very eyes. I start to get less and less annoyed every time I hear that a Penelope Ford match is happening, because she's one of the only people on the women's roster who's been given the time to develop herself, and who seems to, she's just comfortable with who she is and her energy, and again, the way she carries herself. And, you know, I think that Kiera Hogan has a bit of that as well. She also seems to know what she's trying to get across. But once again, the agenting, the production of this match did a disservice to the ladies. They deserve better, bro. They do. They did their best. There was like a great superplex in here. There was a couple of great moments I liked where Penelope actually went for a couple of her moves that she's hit in the past and they got countered, showing that Kiera Hogan has been scouting Penelope Ford. Little details like that matter. Unfortunately, I'm going to give it a D+. You know, I wanted to really push this up to a C because I at least give it to the women that they were trying. But unfortunately, as I said, the agenting of this match did not do them any favors. It did them a massive disservice. What a shame.
Yeah, moving forward, short little vignette with Miro. Now, Miro is angry at his god for the fact that he lost to Sammy Guevara. I am dying, hoping, praying that this leads to Miro taking that belt back at Full Gear. Please, for the love of God, get back to what we were doing. Get back to where we were, because Miro shouldn't have lost that belt yet. If he did lose to Eddie Kingston at Full Gear, cool, give him a little bit of a run with it, have Miro win it back. Let's have Miro be that dominant TNT champion for the next few years before you finally start to push him up towards the main event. If he can even get in the main event scene by that point, considering how many people they've got under contract right now. But, bro, what did you think of this little segment?
I like the fact that Miro would be questioning, what have I done to, make my God forsake me? Because he obviously, from his character's perspective, he'd be feeling exactly the way that we do in real life about the idea of Sammy Guevara being able to beat him and take that title, especially how in his mind as a villain, he's done everything he can to represent his God and carry that title with the most dignity that he can. So I like the fact that now it's like, okay, what have I done to fall out of favor? I thought I was God's favorite champion. Instead, I lost the belt to this pipsqueak. That makes sense. Once again, though, it's going to take something pretty special for to kind of wipe the bad taste out of my mouth that Miro even lost it to begin with. I would have been quite happy with Miro holding this title up until All Out next year. Like I would have really been quite happy with Miro being a long-term TNT champion. Brody Lee did a lot with his run with the TNT title during the COVID era to establish that. He held the title for quite a long time before Cody Rhodes beat him for it, the Exalted One, the TNT champion. I would like to see Miro build on that legacy, and he should still be the TNT champion in my mind. But since he's not, this was the best course of action Miro's character could be going in to respond to what's happened. So I'm giving this promo a B-, Carl.
Yeah, I mean, it felt like he just didn't really have the run that he needed. And imagine if you did have him hold it until All Out next year. Imagine that video package of all the people that have fallen to him before that match with whoever it could have been to finally take that belt off him. But,
dude, light bulb just went off in my brain. Why couldn't you just have 2 weeks ago when Sammy won the TNT title, why couldn't you just have Sammy be announced the winner, but have Miro's foot under the rope or something like that and give him an out to say, I didn't lose this fairly? No, they went right into having Miro lose clean to this guy. The same guy that Dan Lambert, title belt or no, referred to as Tiny Tim earlier tonight in his promo, which was a good line, by the way. Ridiculous.
Yeah. Okay, Hangman Page comes out for a promo with Tony. I thought it was a good promo, and I feel like he's a babyface that I can get behind. I kind of like this guy. You know me, I don't really like babyfaces that much. So, what did you think, bro?
No, you're a dyed-in-the-wool like '90s smart fan. You don't like any talent unless the audience boos the shit out of them, or unless they're telling you they fucked your mother last night. But in any case, I agree with you about the promo. I like Adam Page. I feel that he comes across authentic and that really is who he is. And I feel like when he talks, he actually means what he says. So B- for this promo. Nice work. I'm still not sold on Adam Page coming back and getting back into the world title picture. I know that people are going to say that I'm echoing Jim Cornette, because I do listen to Mr. Cornette's programming. In this case, I happen to agree with his analysis that Adam Page should really have to start a little bit back in the line since he's taken this time off. It doesn't really matter why he took the time off, whether he took the time off for paternity leave or what. That's all well and good. But I don't think necessarily he's at the same level that he was when he first left before CM Punk and Daniel Bryan and Adam Cole and Bobby Fish and others had come into the company. So other than that, I thought that this was a great promo, and I definitely think Adam Page is a top babyface along with Darby Allin that you can help build the promotion around for the future.
Yeah, and your rating?
I would give this promo a B- again. The classic B-.
Cool, bro. Excellent. And we get to our main event of the evening, which I just thought to myself, I can't believe this is the main event of Dynamite. I didn't have many notes, so I'm just going to go through them quickly. I wrote down, I have a feeling this isn't exactly going to be a ratings winner. Bobby Fish versus Bryan Danielson. Now, not a lot of casual fans out there would have seen NXT know anything about the Undisputed Era, know anything about Bobby Fish. He's been around for a while. He's 44 years old. Happy for him that at this stage in his career that he's got a contract with a major promotion and he's being given the opportunity to perform in a main event. That's cool for him. And I thought he was, this is the first time I ever seen him wrestle. Thought he was a good wrestler.
Yeah.
Thought he wrestled great. Thought Danielson looked great as well. Thought the finish was quite weird. But again, I kind of feel like they're banking too much on this whole premise of pro wrestling, like just straight up pro wrestling is going to make their company number one in the world. I want angles. I want stories. I want something to sink my teeth into. I want drama. I want soap opera.
Good wrestling.
We're not getting that with
good in-ring wrestling and drama go together like peanut butter and jelly, brother. You know,
exactly.
One of them's never as good without the other.
Exactly. And like, it's cool to see a nice competitive contest, but how long are we going to go along with Danielson, with Punk, where it's just matches? Give me an angle. Come up with something. Come on, Booker of the Year. Show your creativeness, because I ain't seeing it. You can book matches. Okay, cool. It's a cold match. It's a cold match, and they probably had a history on the indies beforehand. I don't know that. I don't care. You know, if you're going to go down that road, then get some of these companies to send you their footage and show some footage of it before the match. So it's not a cold match for me. So actually, there is a little bit of heat behind it, and I understand why I'm watching this. So Bobby Fish out of the gate, 0-2. You know, I don't know if he wrestled last weekend or whatever, but I know he already lost to Sammy Guevara last week. But yeah, I thought the finish was weird, just like that leg submission victory. Bro, what did you think of the main event here of Dynamite?
Excuse me. Well, yeah, I remarked to you in the match, I thought it was got a little bit of the burpees going on here. I thought that it was a mistake to book Bobby Fish into this match, knowing that they weren't going to have him win, nor should they. I think it was a mistake to book him against Sammy Guevara last week. I'm not saying every new acquisition needs to be treated like a Daniel Bryan or a CM Punk. They certainly don't. But you bring in this guy, his biggest asset on this roster is going to be able to be making other guys look good and teaching other guys. And when you bring a person like that onto your roster, you need to give them wins to build up their credibility so that they can be someone meaningful for an up-and-comer to beat down the line. And they have not done that. It's unfortunate. I agree. It's great that Bobby Fish has a contract. And look, if he's happy just putting people over and stuff like that, then that's fine. I don't have an issue with that. But I do think it was a bit of a mistake because Bobby Fish, you know, it was a pretty prominent independent name, and he was a part of the Undisputed faction in NXT. And I feel like they should capitalize on that. Give the guy a couple of wins. Don't have him come straight out of the blocks and lose his first 6 or 7 matches. I want to see straight wins for the next 4 or 5 matches from Bobby Fish. As for the match itself, they definitely kept it on the mat. It was a little bit slow for my taste, personally, but overall, I thought it was a great match. I don't totally agree with you on the finish. I actually thought it was good. It was these two guys that have an experience in the mat wrestling and the grappling and the jiu-jitsu, jockeying for position. Who's going to lock in this knee bar? Who's going to get their hands clasped? Who's going to be able to hold it in long enough to draw that tap out? Because if you've done jiu-jitsu, you know that once the submission's actually locked in, the best thing the receiver can do is tap out, or else they're going to get a muscle torn or something like that. So it was kind of a chess match and a back and forth about who's getting this submission hold in. Ultimately, it was Daniel Bryan, the bigger star, that was able to lock the knee bar in and get the tap out. I like that. Not every match needs to finish with the running knee. And also, Bobby Fish may have tapped out, but he was not pinned 1, 2, 3 by Bryan Danielson's finisher or tapped out to the label lock. So it didn't completely destroy Bobby Fish's credibility, even in a loss. Bobby Fisher, the chess player. Bobby Fish is credibility in a loss. And I'd have to give this, again, you know what, it might strike people as a little low, but I'm actually only going to give this a C+, because this didn't light the world on fire the way that Danielson's other matches have done so far since coming back.
Yeah, and we finish off the show, bro, finding out the brackets of the Eliminator tournament to go for the world title. I don't know if the winner of this, hopefully they don't just get a shot on Dynamite, but we've got Full Gear coming up where it's Hangman Page against Omega. So I would hope that this winner of this tournament will face Omega or Hangman Page at the following pay-per-view, Revolution or whatever it's going to be next year. So that's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping they're not just doing this to have a title match on Dynamite. But I looked at the brackets and I was very disappointed with what I saw. And you know what? I'm just going to see if I can bring this up. AEW World Title Eliminator. Hold on, brackets. I just want to make sure I've got everyone's name correct, okay? Because when I first saw it, I thought to myself, how fucking nonsensical. I've got mosquitoes all over the place, by the way, bro.
Yeah.
I thought to myself, how nonsensical is this? Okay, so some of them make sense. Lance Archer and Eddie Kingston. Okay, I can buy that. That's okay. Bryan Danielson against Dustin Rhodes. Okay, it's cool Dustin's in it. I like Dustin. But what has he done to earn that? He lost to Malakai. Yeah, Malakai's not in this tournament. And I haven't seen Dustin get a win since we started watching AEW. Yeah. Orange Cassidy. Okay, I can understand that. He has a pretty good record. He beat Matt Hardy. He was in the title match, Double or Nothing. Okay, I can understand that. Powerhouse Hobbs. Love him. Don't understand it, though, because he lost to Punk. Why is Punk not in this tournament? He lost to him. So does a win like that not matter? I don't know.
Yeah.
John Moxley. Okay, I'm not a fan of John Moxley right now, but I can understand why he's in it because he's a former champion and he's probably – I don't think I've seen him lose since like fucking months and months ago. So I understand that. Yes, I understand that. 10, Preston 10 Vance from the fucking Dark Order. Why the fuck is he in the tournament? I haven't even seen him – the last 12 weeks, I haven't seen him wrestle.
I don't mind 10. I think 10's a fun character because the guy's actually not bad in the ring. I don't mind 10 at all, but you're absolutely right. He has no business being entered into the tournament.
Like, if you want to make this tournament mean something, okay, yes, you have Danielson in the match. You have Moxley in the match. In the tournament. You should have Punk in the tournament. You should have Andrade in the tournament. You should have Pac in the tournament.
You should have,
Christian Cage should be in the tournament. These guys should all be in this tournament. I don't understand why you would put guys in this tournament that aren't really not deserving, but like they're just the way that they've been portrayed on television.
Within kayfabe, like I totally get what you're saying, bro. It's the thing is when they do things like this, where they announce this tournament where the winner gets a world title shot. But instead of putting all of their top, most unbeatable guys into the tournament, they put half of those guys into the tournament and fill the rest out with guys that don't have great win-loss records, that may even be in a losing slump. And they put them in the tournament clearly as cannon fodder for the bigger stars. That betrays the whole sense of reality that you're trying to get across in a wrestling program. You know, why is CM Punk such a big star that he's above actually having to compete in this tournament if he wants a world title shot? Why are we assuming that he's going to be doing something more important than competing in this huge world title tournament?
Because he ain't doing anything at the moment.
You know, it's all it does is cheapen the actual gravitas and the importance of this tournament, because you're already showing, we've got other shit planned for Punk. There's other shit planned for Adam Page. Adam Cole, we've got other shit going on with him in the Elite. He's not going to be in it. even though these are the people that you've positioned through your own booking to be considered the top guys in the company. Like when I think of the most important people on the roster right now, it goes like this. It goes Punk, Bryan Danielson, Omega, Adam Cole, Adam Page, fucking Cody Rhodes, Eddie Kingston, Miro, fucking, Lance Archer, Christian, sorry. And that's about it. Those 9 guys, right? They're your top tier talents. Everybody else is on a level. Sorry, Paul White is number 10. Everybody else is on a level below them. So you've got 10 people that are on a distinctly higher level and have a distinctly higher status within the business and on the program as being higher status stars than the other people. Why aren't more of these 10 people in the tournament if this tournament's so important? That's all I'm trying to get.
I can already tell you how it's going to go, bro, okay? And we all know, okay? 10 isn't beating Moxley. So foregone conclusion, all right? Powerhouse Hobbs is not beating Orange Cassidy. Foregone conclusion. Moxley will beat Orange Cassidy because we just saw something there with Moxley and Yuda, right? Dustin Rhodes is not beating Bryan Danielson. No. That is not happening. Okay, that's Archer and Kingston. Okay, you might not know who might win that one. Okay, all right. But whoever wins that one, we ain't seeing Lance Archer go after the world title right now. No. We ain't seeing Eddie Kingston go after the world title right now. So whoever wins between that is going to lose to Bryan Danielson. Yeah, and then we're going to get Danielson versus Moxley at Full Gear, right? Don't know who's going to win that, but this whole tournament, you know where it's headed already. You know what the final is going to be. So it's like if you put Miro in there, if you put Malakai Black in there, if you put some of these other guys, you might not know who's going to win the tournament. Yes, I get protecting people's win-loss records. You don't want this person losing at this point or whatever. But if you put these guys who legitimately could be contenders in the tournament, then okay, first match out. Imagine it was Moxley versus Malakai. Geez, I don't know who's going to win that. Imagine it was Danielson taking on CM Punk. Geez, I don't know who's going to win that. This is what I'm talking about when it comes to this, bro. We already know the final ahead of time. So what is the fucking point in watching the tournament?
The whole thing is just designed to lead back to Bryan Danielson versus Kenny Omega 2. It was a great match the first time they had it. Maybe Bryan Danielson, will win the title on this rematch. Maybe he won't. But once again, the entire tournament is like we always say it with me, Carl, a foregone
conclusion.
Man, we're in sync, man. It's like jazz. Foregone conclusion, exactly. This tournament doesn't mean shit. The only match I'm half looking forward to is Danielson versus Dustin. I think that'll be a tremendous match.
It'll be interesting.
But beyond that, I can't really get excited about this. Carl?
Yeah, and that's how we ended the show, bro. We've gone a little while now into this review. DJ, your rating out of 10.
I'm going to give this show a very generous rating of 4 out of 10. And the only reason it's a 4 and not lower than that is because there were a couple of A-grade bits of material throughout this. But this was really not a great episode.
I will echo those sentiments. I was thinking 4 out of 10 as well. I thought that a lot of the show was boring, and the best segments on the show were talking segments, American Top Team and the Inner Circle, except for the Sammy Guevara bit, and MJF. The Sting part with MJF. Those were the 2 best things on the show, and it had nothing to do with the wrestling in the ring. But I'm sure if you ask any AEW fan out there, it'll be the 6-man tag. It'll be the main event was the best part of the show. Whatever, I don't care. But we will continue to review Dynamite. I wasn't offended by the episode, but again, it wasn't setting the world on fire for me, bro. So I want to thank you for your time, man, for doing this review again. And again, please tell everyone where they can find you.
All right. I'm on YouTube, youtube.com/user/Jooseyboy, Twitter @Jooseyboy, Instagram, Juicy_boy. Facebook, like the page Jooseyboy. And of course, that handle is spelt JOOSEYBOY. That's at Jooseyboy. And anytime that I'm not working on my own stuff, you can, of course, catch me right here on the WZWA Network, YouTube channel, and Twitch, working with you guys over at WZWA Network. And once again, thank you for letting me be a part of this review. Looking forward to next week.
Yes, bro. And you can find me on Twitter at Karlifornia WZWA. That's KARLIFORNIA WZWA. Find us on twitch.tv/WZWA Network. We're going to be on there way more than usual now. Most Fridays or most weekends, we will find a way to stream some different things. You're going to love it. Our channel is not just about reviews. It's not just about podcasts. It's about gaming. It's a wrestling lifestyle channel. We're going to be doing a whole plethora of things. Check it out on our YouTube that you're on right now. Look at our skits that we've come up with. We're actually quite funny. We don't just sit here and complain all the time. Yeah. We do a lot of other things as well. Not only that, but please check out the Insider's Edge podcast. Please check us out on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, on TikTok at WZWA Network. Thank you for joining us for the review tonight. And Juicy Boy, one more time, thank you for joining me.
Thank you very much. And as always, on behalf of Karlifornia and myself,
we will see you down the road. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.